Hello, everybody. This is Astrologer Dawn here. You can find out more about me, my products, and my services at astrologerdawn.com. If you are interested in taking the Tarot 101 class, it starts tomorrow evening, Tuesday, the 14th of November. Please check out the information about it at my website, astrologerdawn.com. So, okay, today's subject is going to be communications and confusion. And I think some of this is from the fact that, you read lots of different things on the internet. And you might go, oh, yeah, that really makes sense. And then you read something different and you go, well, did that first thing make sense? Wait a minute. Now I'm a bit confused. So, being able to communicate and being able to understand when things are confusing can be actually very positive. It's back on. I'm going to have to find a way to get some different glasses that work. So, in terms of communication, just leave it there. So sorry about that. Anyway, so confusion, and there was confusion. See, I had some confusion about taking the phone off the hook. I'd forgotten. So confusion and communication. So I want to start with the communication because the confusion can actually be stuff that's upside down. So all of the pages, I'm going to go through them one at a time, all of the pages are princesses, which is the first of the court cards. So let's look at the Page of Wands. So in terms of communications, this Page of Wands is about bringing you news. And it's usually new things you want to find. That was so funny, the phone and the communications. I just thought about that. Sorry. So the Page of Wands, very much about bringing you good news, communicating very clearly. Oh, I have something that I want to communicate to. So when it's upright, it's always good news. And it's a new form of communication. So it could be something that happens with a new friend. You can, meet somebody for coffee for the first time and you have a great experience with them. And so that really is about having great communications. Page of Cups. Let's go to the Page of Cups. Page of Cups, this is about a new love relationship. So communicating in a new love relationship. Now, pages are young people as well. They're messengers, and of course, that's all about communications. Messengers are about communications. But when you get these cards in a reading for you and for yourself, the Page of Cups is very much about new love or being in those first flushes of new love when the communications that go on when you very first meet somebody can actually be quite limited verbally, but there's a lot of communication in a lot of other ways. So this is about love communication. So I would definitely have to say, for me, this would be about if you're having love communications, positive conversations. Page of Pentacles. This is a very practical card. Remember, the Pentacles are actually quite practical. So this is usually having communications about money. Again, it's actually a positive one. So it's not like, oh my goodness, the bank manager is calling me and I've got an outstanding loan and it's not been paid off. This is much more likely to be, yes, you got the loan, or yes, we need more information for the loan, or yes, you got the student loan, or yes, it looks like you're going to get your home loan. So, but this is somebody communicating with you, usually at the beginning of the process. So it might even be more, yes, you're going to make an application for a home loan. Because remember, Pentacles are about material, so it's anything to do with the material world. Okay. Page of Swords. This is the only one that could potentially be negative when it shows up. Remember yesterday I did about lying, and so the swords have a tendency to cut through things. They can lie, but they can also tell the truth. They can give you the news that you need to hear. And that's what the Page of Swords is. It's news that you don't necessarily want to hear, but the Page of Swords is going to give it to you. And it's only at the beginning of it, so it's not like the final thing. It's not the outcome of something. None of these page cards mean that the outcome is going to be what you want it to be, you know? You might hear good news at one point. You might have great communications with these people at the beginning. That doesn't mean that it's going to end like that. Now, this is actually sort of, oh wait, there's two more. Well, this one, I did this the other day, but this can also mean confusion in terms of where you want to go. So this is the Seven of Cups. And this can be very much you being overly emotional about something, not practical. Don't know that you need to be, some of you, because especially those in human design who are ruled by the solar plexus, everything's about feeling for you guys anyway. But this is about, there's a lot of confusion in this. See, she's got a hand on her head, and there's clouds in the sky, and look at all those options. You know, she's got all those options of what does she want to do. So this can be this is the card for confusion. The way I look at it is when it's upright, because when it is reversed, it's actually about being really clear. So when you see the Seven of Wands upright in a consultation, that is very much about what direction am I going to go in? Well, I'll tell you what direction to go in. Stop being so confused. Put it in writing. Those of you my coaching clients that are on this, or anybody that's had a reading with me, will know I am very big on writing, and the reason for that is what the universe understands. That is our connection with the universe, is to write things down. And it can be really scary to get really practical and, to write things down. But there's no way to move forward otherwise, because otherwise it's just all in your head. Remember, the head is not a good place to be, because it's filled with the itty-bitty shitty committee who will immediately start arguing with you over your intuition. So that's why this card becomes so powerful. This is the High Priestess. The High Priestess card is the intuitive person. I'm going to say woman because obviously it looks like a woman. It could be a man in different card systems. But to me, this is when I think of intuition, I do think of it belonging to women. Men can have it too, but it really belongs to women. Women are much more likely to listen to their intuition. In fact, we might even talk about it more. We might say, oh God, my intuition told me not to do that, or oh yeah, I just didn't feel that was correct. You don't usually hear men saying intuition. You hear them saying, oh, my gut instinct was. It's still their intuition. They're just giving it a different name. So this, when you are being communicated with, tap into this, your intuition. Are you hearing clear communications, or are you being given confusing messages? And do you need to clarify? Do you need to clarify? Because I think that is really important that you clarify. Okay. Because these are the Robin Wood deck. And so the Robin Wood deck is the one I read upside down. So we're going to look at upside downs now. Did I go in a certain order? I'm sure I did, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go back in another order. Okay. So while Page of Wands were upright was communicating good news to you, this would be a tendency to understand that there is upsetting news coming your way. Confusion and communication from my phone. Sorry about that. I guess it's quite important that the phone keeps going off while I am doing this. Oh, thank you, Ahu. Saw your book the other day. Hope you are doing well. Page of Pentacles. Ugh. This is money problems, sweeties. So, you're going to get news, bad news about something. And it's only at the beginning. So if you're looking to buy a house and you get turned down by the first one, or somebody's taking your application and you came to me for a reading, I'd probably say, ooh, you might need to find another loan officer, or you might need to find another way to get the loan, or it's not going to come that way. So the Page of Pentacles is something that you wanted. It could be something that you thought you bought on eBay, only to discover that somebody outbid you. So it doesn't have to be the home, new job. You get offered the job, then they change their mind. So because they keep the person you decided not to leave. So this is usually practical things, anything to do with practical things. You're going to get messages, and there could be confusion around it. Maybe somebody says they interview you for a job, and they offer you the job, but when they send you the letter, it's not the job that you actually applied for. So there could be a lot of confusion there. Page of Cups. Well, this sometimes shows up when my clients' other halves are having affairs, because this sometimes is upsetting news about a relationship, about an emotional event. And if it's something that you've sort of known of somewhere in your heart, this one's more likely to show up. The the Three of Swords will show up if you already know about it and you're heartbroken. This is when you might get some inkling, or there's some confusion. You know, your partner says, or you say to your partner, oh, well, let me just read that last message, just because it's from his mother or something. And he goes, no, I'll look at it. I'll look it up. I'm not giving you his phone. Could be an issue here. So you really want to watch the Page of Wands when it shows up reversed. It gives you really an opportunity. What are you lying to yourself about? There's a lot of confusion in this relationship. What do you need to do in order to be clear? Tell it like it is. Put it in writing what you're looking for. Put it in writing what you are looking for. Stop just daydreaming. I mean, daydreaming's nice. It doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, just daydreaming. You can write out your wishes like I ask you to do every month. You got to take some action too. This is the action card when it comes to getting clear instead of staying confused all the time. Okay, Page of Swords. This is also upsetting news as well. However, it's not usually love. It's not usually work. So it could be upsetting news. You get a call from the neighbor at work, and they said, I hope you realize that there's water coming out of your garage, and it's been flowing for about 4 hours. And I can tell you this one because that actually happened to me in one of my houses. I got a call from somebody, not at work, at my home actually. They had to track me down. They knew I was Astrologer Dawn. That's the only way they were able to track me down. And they were at work, and they'd driven by my house, come home for lunch, and then driven back to work. And there was water gushing. There was a pipe broke that was underneath the garage. And so I didn't know that. So this is upsetting news because then I had to deal with it, and I had to deal with it in the afternoon when I didn't have enough time. And so, it's that kind of upsetting news. It's not things that are not solvable. It could be hearing about some upsetting news about a friend. So it's not something that isn't fixable. But it is something that you sort of go, do I really have to deal with this? Do I really have to deal with this? So, and always, your intuition. And depending upon, when I look at your astrological chart, when I look at your human design chart, that gives me more information about where your intuition lies. If you've had a consultation with me, a lot of times if you are solar plexus, which you are ruled by your solar plexus, there's no truth in the now for you. You got to sleep on things. You got to push away decisions as much as possible. I think it's half the population solar plexus. So half of you listening, I've got to push away decisions. You've got to wait. You've got to sleep on things. You've got to allow your intuition to sort of bubble up. You allow yourself to communicate with a lot of different people before you make some decisions. If you are sacral, like me, instant, in the now, oldest intuition there is. It's just a knowing. You know something is correct. Listen to it. You won't be confused unless you listen to the itty bitty shitty committee. For those of you who are sacrally driven, like 70% of you at least have sacral energy, which is in your gut. That's that feeling of something doesn't feel right in your gut. Don't want to do that, or would love to do that. That's what you've got to listen to. There's no confusion when you listen to your intuition. You might not like it. You might not like what your intuition is saying. You might not want to do what your intuition is saying. It will never, ever, ever lie to you. Unlike this place here, where the itty-bitty shitty committee lives, as well as the management committee. They're a little bit quieter. They will constantly question your intuition. Constantly. So that you're not confused, listen to your intuition. Okay, so communication and confusion. So let's see what you need to know today about communication and confusion. Some of you will have great communications today. And some of you will have lots of confusion. That could lead, across the week. Because tomorrow, this is my last day that I'm doing this until next week. And then I'm starting all over again, but it's not just going to be tomorrow. So, and it's not going to be at 1 o'clock in the middle of my day either. I can't do anything. So it will be probably at like 9 o'clock in the morning. My assistant will send out that information later on today. But it's going to be on a variety of subjects. It's going to be on human design. It's going to be on tarot cards. It's going to be on astrology, intuition. And a great question, intuition versus desire. How can you tell who is speaking to you? Okay, so desire. Let's talk about the two different things. So intuition is when somebody says to you, would you like to go out to friend? We're not talking about romance here, just friends. Hey, would you like to go out to dinner tonight? And your intuition says, Gotta watch Dancing with the Stars tonight. You can't record it. So, doesn't matter what you tell the other person. Don't tell them you're going to watch Dancing with the Stars. You just say, not tonight. That doesn't feel correct for me. So then desire. So you have a desire to go out to dinner, but that desire may not be what your intuition says. Just because I desire to have a piece of chocolate cake right now. Steve made one over the weekend. It's sitting right there behind that door in the kitchen. The desire is there. What does my intuition tell me? I will have a sugar overload. I might end up with diabetes. I haven't eaten today yet. I know it's 1:17. I've been really busy. Lots of change here today. It's fine. I'm going to have something as soon as I'm done with this. Not chocolate cake. So my desire is for chocolate cake. My intuition says, oh, Dawn, you feel like crap after that if you eat that chocolate cake. Doesn't mean I'm not going to have a piece of the chocolate cake later. I've had something healthy, maybe a chicken salad later. So the difference between intuition and desire is, desire doesn't always come from your intuition. You see something, you grab it. Your intuition might go, that doesn't feel correct. So how do you tell the difference? Because there can be a lot of confusion. What I'm really trying to do with people, this is an ongoing mission of mine, is bags under my eyes. Look at that fabulous. Okay. It's nice of you, several of you, to say that. Okay, so I forgot what I was going to say about that. Jennifer, you can tell me. A lot of this has to do with getting out of your head. So my goal is to, this is your head, and this is intuition, okay? And they're like this for most people. If you've not really been working on your intuition, or you're not used to your intuition, or you're not comfortable with your intuition, or you've just not listened to it, most of the time it's going to be like this. So here's head, here's intuition. My goal is to build a gap between your intuition and so that you don't jump from one to the other. So even if you do jump from your intuition to your head, there's enough of a gap in between that you know that it's now your head speaking. And head will be full of fears and what you can't do, what's not going to work, why it won't work. Sometimes desires will fit into that as well. They'll be from your head as well. Whereas your intuition has nothing to do with that. It just tells you things. Go do that. It doesn't tell you why. It doesn't tell you what's coming up next necessarily. It doesn't tell you how it's going to turn out. It just says do it. And basically, intuition is about trust. When you trust your intuition and you just step into it, it's really like that poem that I always say at the end, which I'll be saying at the end of this, about having faith that you're going to be okay no matter what. But we've been conditioned. Remember, we've been conditioned into this head. And a lot of it comes from going to school. If you go to school, prison for 12 years, what do you have to do there? You have to memorize and regurgitate information. So your head is going to be really, strongly connected to your intuition. Once you get away from the prison, though, you can really start to move that gap. So when I have something intuitive come up, and I know I do this for a living, and you don't have to do this for a living for this to be the way, but when I have an intuition come up, I follow it. Even if it doesn't sound like logically, because it's not about logic. I'll just do it anyway and see what happens. It's not, your intuition is not going to tell you to do something dangerous. So please remember to do that. Unless it does tell you to go bungee jumping and you'll be fine. Or jumping out of a plane, you'll be fine. You know, you've got to trust that. Because the head's going to come up with all kinds of excuses and reasons why you can't do anything. So the biggest thing is strengthening your intuition. Catherine Yunt and I, we did about 16 podcasts on intuition alone. So if you want to go to Intuitive Pathfinders, with an S on the end.com, go listen to how you can strengthen your intuition. Because we've got 16 half-hour, actually, we've got 12 half-hour and 4 1-hour, I think, podcasts there, and it's all around intuition. So if you're not sure about your intuition, and they're free, so just go listen to them. And you'll see Catherine and I when we did this. Both of us very big into intuition. Okay, so thank you, Anika. I'm going to look at, in terms of communication, so who do you need to communicate with today? Or what do you need to communicate about? How's that? It's probably a better one. What do you need to communicate about? And again, I'm asking the questions the way that I would ask them because I have years of doing this, so I know what works and what doesn't work. In my class, I teach you at the Tarot 101 course that starts tomorrow, I teach you how to ask the right questions. So I teach you from scratch. It's sort of like when you're learning to do anything. When you make a recipe for the first time, you follow the ingredients, you know, because you want to make sure you get it right. That's usually me anyway. And then afterwards, now I can start adding things. Now I can start messing around with that. But first of all, you want to do it correctly. So this is, what do you need to have intuition about today? What do you need to have communication about today? I'm going to pull 3 cards from my Robin Hood deck. You won't be able to see them on the desk, but that's okay. I will hold them up. I haven't figured out how to get around that yet. I have to build a little something. I'll figure it out anyway. Okay, so this could be a rough day. Some of you may hear from a lawyer today, and this may not be good news, unless, of course, you're getting divorced, and then that may be good news. But there is a legal situation that could be going on that we might get some not good news today. I also have to apply this to myself as well, so that's interesting. You're carrying a heavy burden. This one's upright today. You know, you've been carrying a heavy burden, probably about something that's going on legally or something you've had to talk. And you know what? The King of Swords is also a doctor as well. So it could be something medical or something legal. And you've really been carrying a heavy load over this. So you may get an answer today, but it won't be what you want. You know, instead of it being, oh, we can fix that easily, you just need to take these pills, it might be a little bit more complicated. You may need to go to a specialist, especially if it's a doctor. If it's an attorney, they may be saying to you, we need to bring somebody else on. The good news, the Magician card. You've got all the tools and the resources that you need in order to get what it is that you want. So even if there is a setback today, even if there is what appears to be bad news, don't always think of it like that. Because out of what you consider bad news comes good news. It's how we grow, you know, it's how we grow. So anyway, Magician card is great. It's a fabulous card. You've got the tools and resources to do what you need to do. So communicate well with people. And if you don't want to say something to somebody, then don't. You don't have to respond to somebody if you don't want to. Nobody forces you to talk to anybody. Even if you get upsetting news today, big upsetting news because it's the king, from a doctor or a lawyer, breathe it in. Breathe it in. For those of you who have solar plexus energy, you have to sleep on it anyway before you can get really clear about what that means to you. So ultimately, you're going to have the tools and the resources to manage whatever the situation is. New tools and resources will arrive, or somebody with those new tools and resources. Okay, so starting Monday, again, I think about 9 o'clock Arizona time, which is 8 o'clock on West Coast, and 10 o'clock Cayman Islands, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock Cayman Islands, 11 o'clock East Coast. I have to check for England because I have some of you that are from England and you definitely like to watch these. So I need to check that time difference with you guys. I think it's 7 hours right now. So you'll have to get up in the middle of the night, unfortunately. So if you wanna discover more about how to read cards for yourself, check out the Tarot 101 class. It's 5 weeks, an hour and 15 minutes. I'm keeping it small so that I can communicate with all of you. So I didn't want a lot of people. I've got a couple of spaces still open. And if you check out astrologerdawn.com, or you can click on the link that my fabulous assistant is putting here, you can check that out too. Of course, if you're watching this, you're not watching the Facebook stuff, I would guess, so you'll just check out my website. And then we'll be letting you know on Monday, because I'm going to be I love doing this, I've decided. I don't really care how many of you are watching or how many people get to see it. I just really enjoy giving information to people. And somebody will get this. Whoever it is that needs this will get my information. I will still be doing answering questions. If you would like me to answer a question for you, all you have to do is type it in the comment section, and I will be happy to answer. Topics, there's going to be tons of different topics that can be resolved using intuition, your astrological chart, your human design chart, and all the tarot cards. And also, there may be some information about coaching as well, because I have been a coach for 17 years now, life and business coach. So, I want to make sure that you get some of the benefits of the things that I've learned, so you can apply them to your own life. Anyway, poem, my favorite, Edward Teller. So, you'll have my makeup on tomorrow. Okay. When you come to the end of all the light you know, and it's time to step into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing that one of two things shall happen. Either you'll be given something solid to stand on, or you'll be taught to fly.